Good morning, Mr. Toastmasters and fellow members of the Toastmasters Club.
Good morning.
Good
morning.
My name is Yao Cheng Hu. I'm from Taiwan. I'm currently an investor, entrepreneur, and a graduate student at NYU. And before I came here, I was a Army Ranger officer back in Taiwan. And today is about my experience during the service. I decided to join the Ranger as an experience to myself. I'd like to know how much pain and discomfort I can take before yeah. But it turns out very well. And today I'd like to share with you this kind of experiment. So, on January 5th, 2013, the world stopped for 50 seconds. Not really, but it feels that way. I was conducting my very first low-altitude parachute jump. After 6 weeks of harsh, painful ground training, I finally on the plane. Inside the 3130, the military transport plane, lit red lights. I felt my mouth was dry and my breath rigid. The reps from my personal combat gear, my main chute, reserve chute, my rifle, my additional ammunition cuts me into skin. It wasn't comfortable. The gear we wear is often too heavy that literally takes out all the fun of everything we do. But it is not very important to me because I don't like to be on a plane when I have to jump off it. It was the most terrifying moment of my life. I was never a fan of height. Low altitude jump can be very safe with proper training and can be very dangerous if you are paralyzed and you don't know what you're doing. If you had a bad exit, it is very likely that your main chute will malfunction. When that happens, it can be very, very deadly because the altitude is so low, you get little chance, or I should say little time to pull your reserve. But it was the height that I worry most. The term low altitude jump isn't that low in reality. It was 1,400 feet above ground. And I'm sure I'm not good at facing that altitude because that altitude is high enough to get me heart attack. So as we approach the drop zone, I can hear my heart pumping. Boom, 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 boom. And I start to doubt my decision to join the Ranger. A lot of questions come up to my mind. Why am I here? Why am I trying to jump off this plane? What am I doing? And then a lot of what if scenario comes up. What if I had a bad exit? What if I didn't land well and break my legs? What if my chute malfunctioned and I have to pull a reserve? What if the reserve malfunctioned too, right? And then, as we approach the drop zone, with no alert, the green go light lit up. The jump master said, "Green light, jumpers, go!" I heard the shouting through the noise of engines. I see my teammate wobbled forward and disappeared off the ramp. And at that time, I tried to focus. Instead of being afraid, I try to focus on what I can control. I can control my gear, I control my rehearsals, I control my mind, I control my decision makings. Then I do what I should do and exit the plane. The next thing I know, I was already checking my shoe. It worked just fine. And the time after my exit, it was quiet, but it was more than that. I felt a sense of peace and joy inside my heart. It was me making peace with my fear and enjoy the process doing it. It was the most happy 50 seconds I've ever had. People say Rangers is fearless. Think again. No one lives without fear. Heights were my Achilles heel. I was too focused on how uncomfortable, how afraid I am on the plane, not what I'm about to do. And I'm glad I didn't let fear paralyze me on the plane. But it was a close call. I guess I need a close call to learn a lesson I'll never forget. Thank you.
I'd like to present this icebreaker ribbon to Yelchin. He did a great job for an icebreaker. I think you're taking a picture?
I'm videotaping.